Viewers, if you are watching, make sure you click on the like button, drop your comment, and also share this program to others. Subscribe if you have not done so if you are watching for the first time. North attacks Tinubu over US invasion. What do you have to say about this?
Yes, I think a lot of things are beginning to happen unveil politically ahead of 2027. Even though we are hearing that Donald Trump himself has declared, that likely he is going to puncture Tinubu's ambition 2027 because unfortunately, has not been able to launder the image of the country very well, and the Fulanis themselves are not comfortable with the way and manner Tinubu is creating a lot of loopholes for a foreign interest in Nigeria and in terms of security, defense, and otherwise. So the North are not happy because Tinubu keep on exposing more of Nigerian challenges to the world. So and these are the things the Northerners does not want it to happen. One of the reasons why they do not always want to relegate power to anybody, is because of what is happening now. Unfortunately, Tinubu was not able to cover up well, for them over the years of, atrocities and mismanagement and bad leadership factored in by these people. And the reason why, they always find it very difficult to hand over power to the Southerner. Unfortunately, there's this romance between them and Yorubas. I don't know whether it is pretentious on the side of the Yorubas or not. But the fact is that, that they do not want to see an Easterner within that corridor of power. That Jonathan's emergence as president at that time was just definitely a case of circumstances that led to that. So there is something, they do not want to be exposed. Unfortunately, Bola Ahmed Tinubu has not been able to cover up very well. The only area Bola Ahmed Tinubu seems to be pleasing the North very well is the continuous trial and the detention of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. I think to an extent, that's where it has automatically, pleased them. But you can see where the likes of what we are hearing, coming from the section of the northern part of the country, is not something that Bola Ahmed Tinubu should be comfortable if he's actually going to run for 2027 election. There's so much pressure, and confusion within the Aso Rock space, and he might not be able to, handle it, properly, coming from the United States government military invasion and series of, comments and opinions about his government seems to be, dwindling the image of Bola Ahmed Tinubu and APC government in that direction. So you can see what actually transpired in Abuja recently, where a soldier was challenging the authority of Mr. President, and in the entire generals of the northern extraction defended that boy against the commander-in-chief, and the presidency have not been able to do anything. They challenged Bola Ahmed Tinubu directly, concerning his being commander-in-chief of the Nigerian Armed Forces. You can see that to an extent, Wike was saying that if Bola Ahmed Tinubu cannot protect him, then he will definitely resign. But unfortunately, you didn't see another hammer coming on the head of Wike directly now, where he has been totally amputated from PDP party as a political party. They have caged him finally by expelling him from that party completely. Now, how he's definitely going to fight back, and nobody knows at the end of the day. But that's just what it means to be an unfortunate system, to be in an unfortunate system, crippled by corruption, terrorism, tax, and lack of international image has put the Yorubas and the Northerners in a very tight corner currently now.
Viewers, if you are still watching, make sure you click on the like button, drop your comment, and also share this program to others. Are you trying to say maybe the Fulanis or the North has the sole power to control Nigerian politics?
Yes, who is granting them their that affirmation and that overwhelming unfortunate political strength that they actually do not have if the South actually mean business and to wrestle power from them, completely. Yes, but you can see in the entire organogram of the politics structure in Nigeria, it is only the eastern part of the country that was divided into two. The Yoruba Southwest was not divided into two. They divided it into two, south and southeast. They divided it, so that to allow this kind of create this kind of animosity, create crisis, create some level of sentiment, among brothers, telling them. But you cannot see that kind of a thing in the north, where most of them are does not even speak Hausa. There are so many tribes in the north, but they were not, demarcated the way, they demarcated the eastern bloc, eastern region in that regard. So you can see, and they seem to be enjoying whether it is a fake support from the west here or not. But it looks like that oppression is being is collapsing gradually now because there's an underground movement now for the South-South unification, South-South and South-East unification that is going on now. And once that stands, eventually, it's going to dismantle Nigeria completely. So it looks like the Fulanis are the ones, it looks like they are controlling the structure, and you can see why this president is very careful when it comes to the North, relationship with the North. He doesn't want to dig deep and all that. But you can see politically that the North has been silent over the years now, as we are seeing more and more southern structures collapsing under Bola Ahmed Tinubu, which is a very big threat. Just like what James Hadley Chase will always say. He said, too many fish in the pond will stay up the mud. They're going to stay up the mud. All these guys that are running to APC and all of them, they're going to stay up the mud, especially on the southern part of the thing. And once that structure collapses, Tinubu is not going to, and that's what the Northerners are targeting currently now, that when the right time comes, there's going to be serious dismantling. You can see the strike that was given to Wike, completely. And Wike happens to be the first southern politician to head federal capital territory as a minister, and you can see what they have given him, a left boot. Now I think he will fly to somewhere he doesn't know and definitely land to unfortunate ground, but I hope that Bola Ahmed Tinubu will be able to rescue him, as his political career begin to crumble at the end of the day. So the North is already, chiseling out and amputating anything that has to do with Tinubu's sustenance of presidency, irrespective of how calculative Bola Ahmed Tinubu might likely want to be at the end of the day, and the exposure coming from the middle belt, Tinubu will find it very difficult to hold onto that power come 2027. And if care is not taken from what we are hearing, it might lead to him staging in an artificial breakup in Nigeria 2027.
Trump's threat. Gumi accuses the Middle Belt Christians of burying empty coffins. Sheikh Gumi has accused the Middle Belt Christians of burying empty coffins. What do you have to say about this?
Yes, when I saw the video, of Sheikh Tinubu's son and Gumi, it marvels me, how come and why the presidency had always been soft, about this Gumi and all those people that we are actually pointed out, in connection with sponsorship or maintaining a certain jihadist structure in the north, or trying to carry out a certain conquest in that, So Bola Ahmed Tinubu, seeing Bola Ahmed Tinubu's son and this Gumi, I got actually irritated, but you can see, the way they handle a Yoruba issue or a Northern issue is different from the way they handle an Igbo man issue, So you can see these things when you look at it very well. You understand clearly, why Bola Ahmed Tinubu actually went as far as choosing a Muslim ticket in that regard. And these things are not far-fetched. It's part of the conquest agenda anyway, and that's the fact. So the only solution, whatever Gumi want to pretend, let him pretend about it, But the thing is that, the entire Middle Belt Christians, the entire Northern Christians, are calling for international intervention, no matter how you look at it. But the fact is that you cannot deny the killing. You cannot deny killings that is going on in different parts of the country currently now. And this killing is being connected to a certain region of the country, a certain, unfortunately, tribe in this country that are called, Fulanis. And that's the picture. And if Nigeria is totally collapses and goes into a deep crisis, I don't think the Hausa nation, the Hausa people, the Hausa indigenous people of the north will allow these Fulanis to maintain that certain structure. We are working on their consciousness that's going on in the north now, over the state of Fulanis currently now. And if definitely that the US government intervention, military intervention is going to come, and definitely that will be the end of Nigeria. If America steps their foot in Nigeria, there's no need of thinking otherwise. The full options that has been tabled before the president himself includes, how to protect civilians from now to 100 years. And the only way they are projecting this thing to come to reality and be able to stand test of time is the disintegration we are talking about, where we are going to have, possibly a southern Christian nation and not possibly a northern. Then those people who are not too comfortable with being within the atmosphere of the north as Christians can have a place in Biafra land to go and take refuge at the end of the day, because of what is coming. Even as we are talking, you can see that there are more killings are taking places in the middle belt and in the north and other parts of the country, by the same people. So and then their government seems to not be doing anything, and this thing continue to squeeze the Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration, out of, So it will be an unfortunate thing that there's going to the U.S. military is going to take over Aso Rock, and it's going to happen under Bola Ahmed Tinubu's, administration, who we are not able to cover up very well for the northern atrocities, and most of these things have been leaked. And then Omokri tried as much as possible. Daniel Bwala and the rest of them, they are no longer talking. Bayo Onanuga, none of them is saying anything now, because the thing has gotten, they didn't see it coming. It has eaten deep into the consciousness of this APC administration under Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And what we are experiencing now is a complete squeezing, of the administration to a dying point. And at that dying point now is where the Americans are going to come and it's going to take over Aso Rock. And of course, what we are going to see at the end of the day is that, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, it happens under Bola Ahmed Tinubu's government, because his government was not able to protect the atrocities of the North or cover up for the northern plan on Nigeria over the years. So that's what it means. So that's why the Northerners are not actually comfortable and happy with Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration. The regret is already there, given the way and manner they have been issuing statement, and that is why you see the entire northern political organigram have not been able to take a certain position whether they are going to decamp to APC or not. So it becomes a complete face-off between the South and the North. And at that point now, there's more division in the political structure of the country. And any foreign intervention will make it very more easier for Nigeria to totally disintegrate before 2027 at the end of the day. And that's the picture. So those who are actually involved, yes, will be treated like enemies, and I think to an extent the United States government is serious, let me put it that way, on rescuing the masses, of this country in that regard. And that's what is going to happen definitely, that Bola Ahmed Tinubu government might not be able to experience 2027 history at the end of the day.
Viewers, if you are still watching, make sure you click on the like button, drop your comment and share this program. Subscribe if you have not done so. God bless you and have a nice day.